September 15th, 2020, Tuesday. Good afternoon from Europe. Good morning, good evening, whatever you are. Piotr here is Light Forex Global YouTube channel. US cash market is about to open within the next 1 minute. We are going to check first 5-minute trading range when it comes to the Nasdaq as usual. Before we will do that, let's have a look what we have when it comes to the risk warning. Guys, please bear in mind, trading on margin call is a high level of risk, may not be suitable for all investors. You can sustain a loss of some or initial investment, so please do not invest the money you cannot afford to lose. Seek education, gain experience before risking real money. However, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Okay, so first 5-minute trading range. Let's make some preparation here when it comes to the Nasdaq. If you do remember, we make some plan based on the late February and the March price action on the Nasdaq. For now, looks like it's working well. So well, we still have some time. So that's the plan, right? So we hit the demand, and since Friday we are trying to bounce. There is some space left to the upside. All right. Let's make this weekly open. Like this. All right. Sorry. So the space left. So looks like there is a possibility that ahead of the FOMC we are going to get higher levels, and then eventually rejection around 11,750, 900 based on chart I'm using. Let's get back to the 1 minute because the US cash market is open. I do expect some kind of the range today because of the Fed tomorrow. So, you know, a little bit to the downside, a little bit to the upside. What I would like to see is, compared to the yesterday price action, right? Compared to what we've seen yesterday and this bottom, right, during the cash market, I think plenty of stops are below, right? So I would like to see a retest of this. Of course, we are trading 11,420 right now, and we are talking about the stops under 200. That's 220 to 50 points to the downside, but never say never, right? Especially ahead of the FOMC, and then ahead of the quadruple witches Friday. Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see that market is looking for the liquidity, so some aggressive, moves to the downside could take the place. Of course, we would have to see. To have a possibility to see that today, we'd have to see like 70 points range at least. So that should be our first 5-minute trading range, right? To make it 3 times to the downside to hit this liquidity with the stops below. That could be the case. On the other hand, if we are going to go straight to the upside, right, from here, then of course, if we are going to see the rejection around the previous week high with this stop count towards 11,750, that could be of course the short setup. But again, I do not expect this type of the fireworks today. If we are going to see the reversal, it could be tomorrow/Friday with all those events around. So, well, I still believe we might see a little bit higher levels. I'm negative, of course, but based on what we discussed when it comes to the chart, so the conservative sellers are waiting, aggressive buyers are around. So let's have a look where we are. Right, there is a little bit lower levels here. Still, do we have 50? Well, 25. So it's very narrow right now. So it could be boring day today. Anyway, in the meantime, it's worth to mention we had some US data, right? We had Empire State Manufacturing Index came out at 17, much higher, almost three times higher what was the market expectations at 6.2. Then capacity utilization rate 71.4 versus 71.7 expectations. And industrial production at 0.4 with 1.2 expectations. So here a bit weaker, but we've seen the previous one revised higher. So especially the Empire State Manufacturing Index, that could be a little bit nice surprise. We will see. 1.5 minutes, but the narrow is, but the range is very, very narrow for now. Let's have a look few dollar currency pairs. Again, cable. I do expect higher levels here to hit levels close to 130, right? So I do expect some stop count to the upside, a little bit stronger pound, maybe towards the London close, maybe around the option expiration, and then eventually rejection. I would like to see this previous consolidation 50%, 130.20 to be tested and rejected. That's what I would like to see. Don't forget that on Thursday we have Bank of England. With that being said, how I see the possibility of the stronger pound is because of what we have when it comes to the euro pound, right? If you do remember, we finally hit some important levels around 93. I would expect some higher towards 93.40, but well, there is a rejection. So you know, pound might be stronger simply because of the profit taking when it comes to the euro pound longs, right? So in that case, we might see higher cable, and at the same time we might see euro dollar going a little bit lower. And don't forget, guys, we discussed it earlier today, 1850 option expiration, huge amount, and as you can see, upper shadow on the daily, so we are pulling back. So if you are listening our previous update, you knew it that we have some kind of the option expiration. There was a stop count closing the business setup over here. It's easy to say because we are like 30 pips lower. Let's switch to the 1 minute chart and let's have a look if there was something telling us that it was possible to join that party, right? So first thing first, it was the stop count with rejection on the 1 minute chart over here, but let's say that we are waiting for the retest, and let's say we got that retest. So let's put the line on this 1 minute chart, and I think there's nothing to add more from my side. Everything is clear and visible with this tiny stop count over here. I know it's a 1 minute chart. Some of you may say, well, no, it's a you know, it's a noise on 1 minute chart. It is not, guys. If you know what you are looking for, it is not. So of course the risk was huge from the aggressive perspective, because the entry was well, I would say 5-8 pips below, right, with the stop just 1 or 2 above. So total was like 8 to 10 pips stop loss, and of course it was from the higher time frame perspective. I would say that I would expect higher levels. That's what we discussed. But from intraday point perspective, intraday point setup, when we were discussing that option market 1850, it could work as a magnet. From the aggressive approach, probably it was worth to give a shot. But that's, you know, you always have to do your own research. If you feel comfortable, then you can give it a go. Otherwise, you are skipping. But just to show you that it was something going on the euro dollar. So overall, ahead of the FOMC, ahead of the Bank of England, we are currently see some kind of the combination of the stronger pound, weaker euro, basically because of the, in my opinion, profit taking on euro pound, as well as short cable. That's how I see the things as well, right? So this type of the combination, and we have to remember about that. Australian dollar, I took the short. I'm looking to eventually add on a because we have two lines on a daily and intraday. So I'm looking for a stop count above 73.50 with the rejection when it comes to the intraday, and looking to add a bit in case of the strong close towards the end of the day. Probably I'm gonna be forced to close my short. Let's get back to the Nasdaq for a second. Okay, because what we have, it's 39, 37, nothing has happened, very narrow range, nothing for me when it comes to this particular approach. Looks like all about the bots right now, so they took over. You may want to try to watch this type of the setup. Anyway, from my perspective, as discussed previously, I would like to see pullback and deep pullback. It might not materialize, right? It might not materialize. Let's try to find a little bit different approach in that case. Let's switch to the 15-minute chart and let's have a look what we have lately. We've seen that previous week this range from the cash open was as a supply, right? So that's what we are targeting. So sellers waiting for a stop count and rejection. In that case, in my opinion, buyers might be somewhere here, right? But still it's a 120 to the downside, half of the what I would look for. But let's say that's combination of the upside break from the consolidation, retest and continuation. That could be the case somewhere towards 11,320. I wouldn't chase the market at all ahead of the FOMC, so that's how I see the things here. All right, guys. So overall, looking to buy some dollar, not necessarily today, and looking to either buy on dip today when it comes to the intraday approach to the Nasdaq, or sell some kind of the failure in case of the higher levels. Euro dollar from intraday perspective, that's what I've been talking about. Normally we discussed higher levels are still possible. The double top today we've seen it's gonna be the, because you know the pullback is because of the option expiration, and right now we have to understand here is the liquidity pool, here is the liquidity pool, and 1960, that's what I would like to see, this type of the price action towards the FOMC and rejection, right? Especially there is a chance because of the possible midweek reversal strategy. The worst thing may happen is a one-way ticket from the very beginning of the week towards the end of the week without any kind of the stronger pullback. With that being said, guys, I'm preparing myself for the FOMC tomorrow. Of course, more comments, more updates to come when it comes to the majors, when it comes to the the top dollar pairs. Here, be careful, don't be trapped. See you around, guys. Thank you very much. Take care and have a good day.